Something enormous is buried under Antarctica. A ring, 500 kilometers wide, sits beneath a mile of ice, and scientists still cannot agree what actually made it. It sits in Wilkes Land, East Antarctica, centered near 70 degrees south. No expedition found it. No drill reached it. A satellite measuring gravity from orbit did. Gravity is not perfectly even across Earth. Dense rock pulls slightly harder, thin crust slightly less, and those differences are small enough to need a satellite pair to detect. NASA's GRACE mission flew exactly that. 2 spacecraft chasing each other in orbit, and the tiny changes in the gap between them mapped the mass hidden below. Over Wilkes Land, the instruments found something odd. A strong positive gravity peak, and wrapped around it a ring of negative anomaly. A bullseye, buried in rock. That pattern has a name. On the Moon and on Mars, a central mass surrounded by a depressed ring is the fingerprint of an enormous, ancient impact basin. The central peak is mantle. When something massive strikes, the crust thins, and hot, dense rock from below rises into the wound and cools there permanently, locked in place. The estimated width is around 500 kilometers, 315 miles. That is nearly 3 times the crater linked to the extinction of the dinosaurs. If that reading is right, this would be the largest impact structure ever identified on this planet. And almost nobody has ever seen the ground it sits in. The idea is not new. A researcher proposed a crater here back in 1976, working from far cruder survey data and a very unpopular hunch at the time. For decades, it stayed a footnote. Then the satellite gravity data arrived, the bullseye sharpened, and a 2009 paper put the impact case back on the table. The timing is what made people uneasy. Some proposed the strike landed around 250 million years ago, the date of the largest extinction in Earth's history. That extinction erased roughly 9 in 10 marine species. If one impact caused it, this buried ring would be the most consequential scar on the entire planet. But gravity alone cannot prove an impact. It measures mass, not history. 2 completely different events can leave a very similar signature behind in the rock. To confirm a strike, you need physical evidence. Shocked quartz. Grains hammered by pressure no ordinary geology produces. Melted glass beads. A chemical spike in the layers. All of that sits under 1.5 kilometers of ice in one of the most remote and hostile places any research team could physically try to reach. Nobody has drilled to the floor of this structure, not once. Every claim about it, on both sides, is an interpretation of measurements taken from very far away. So the ring stayed exactly what it was in 1976, a shape in the data that is either extraordinary or ordinary, with nothing in between to settle it. And then a competing explanation arrived, one that needs no impact at all. And it fits an uncomfortable amount of the same evidence. Antarctica and Australia were once joined. As they tore apart, the crust stretched, thinned, and collapsed. And that process can produce a gravity low that mimics a basin. A 2015 study placed this feature inside that rift system. Thinned continental crust, exhumed mantle, detachment faulting, dated between 83 and 43 million years ago. 2 explanations, 1 signature. An impact so large it reshaped the planet, or a continent slowly pulling itself apart. The gravity map alone cannot tell them apart. Discrepancies remain on both sides. The rift model does not cleanly account for every feature. The impact model has never produced a single physical sample. This is what makes Antarctica difficult. We have mapped the surface of Mars in finer detail than the bedrock under this ice sheet, because ice hides everything beneath it. Under that shell, there are mountain ranges nobody has climbed, canyons deeper than the Grand Canyon, and lakes sealed off from sunlight for millions of years. Every time the instruments improve, another one of these appears. The continent keeps producing discoveries that arrive as a shape in data rather than a photograph. Settling this one needs a drill on that exact spot. through 1.5 miles of ice, in a place where a single season can vanish to weather. That expedition has not happened. It is expensive, slow, and logistically brutal. And until it does, the ring stays a genuinely open question rather than a headline, which is the honest version of this story. Not a cover-up, not a certainty, a real anomaly, 2 serious explanations, and not enough evidence yet to choose, so it is still down there, unresolved, under the ice. The largest crater on Earth, or no crater at all. And the only way to know is to dig.